Hello all, hi, my name is Kimmy Coleman and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the pros and the cons of being a pastor's kid from New York. I was born and raised here, gang. I feel like New York's experience is unique because there are churches literally everywhere. You cannot go down the block without seeing a church or una iglesia, okay? If you're from the Bronx or Brooklyn, then you know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna just talk about my experience because my parents' church is in the Bronx. These are my pros, these are my cons, and this is what I have found being a pastor's kid in New York. I know about this because my parents have been in ministry since I was in my mother's womb. They're both Jamaicans, so they're coming from Jamaica. Oh, you do Jamaica, oh, you do Jamaica, wait! Sorry. My parents immigrated here and they had me in America, but I'm Jamaican. I'm a Jamaican New Yorker. Don't get it twisted. Okay, Jamaica runs through me. They were searching for a church home, and thus Lighthouse Ministries International Incorporated was born. That opened in 2001. My dad was the bishop for the church for 7 years until he passed away in 2008. R.I.P. Pour out a 40 for my father. My mom took over as the pastor. So if she's the pastor now, we are all in this together. For my dad and for Jesus, my spiritual father. That's how I'm qualified to talk about this. So let me get to the point. I'm talking too much. Pros and cons of being a pastor's kid. I'm gonna start off with the pros, start off in a positive place. I'm only gonna do 3 of each too. This ain't a sermon, okay? We're not here forever. First and foremost is my church family. Ugh, I love them so much. The ones that have been there from day one, shout outs to you, you know who you are. There have obviously been some bad experiences because within any church, within any structure, any social gathering, there's going to be people that are down for you and then there's going to be people that are not down for you. I'm talking about the people that have been down for me and my family since day one. Like, they are literally my family. And they're all like mostly Jamaican, Caribbean people. So when we cook, the food be beautiful. I miss that cooking, y'all. I miss it. Moment of silence for the curry goat I have not had in like 3 months. The whole New York aspect that comes into it is in the Bronx. There are just pockets of Caribbeanness. I don't know if we would have gotten that vibe if we lived anywhere else. There probably is. And if there is, tell me in the comments below so I could go check it out. Second thing is new skills. That's a pro, bro. I did not know I could play the drums. I did not know I could sing until I had no other option. My resume is juicy. She's voluptuous. I'll tell this story really quickly. I learned to play the drums when I was 8 years old because we were left without music. I was in my little frilly dress. I was in my little ankle socks with the frills. Y'all know the ones. Y'all know the ones. Whoever's still putting their children in those socks, mercy. Leave their little ankles alone. Just had to put that in there. But I was in my little dress, my little frilly socks, and my mom was like, go play the drums. And I was like, with what skill set? And she was like, well, I'm gonna play it. No, I'm so young. Go play the drums. LOL, mom, stop. Go and play. And eventually she won because she was my mom and she's Jamaican and she would not having none of that. So I went and I started playing and I've been playing the drums ever since. I've had to be a teacher. I still teach Sunday school, choreographer for when we've had praise dances. Let me just tell y'all, my resume is juicy. Public speaking, leadership, and it's all because of the skills I learned. Which leads me to the third thing, which is spiritual life. Insert halo here. I'm not perfect. I hate when people call me perfect because perfect does not exist. The only thing to me that is perfect is God. And my spiritual life is not a bed of roses. But me and God have a much better relationship now than we did prior to me leaving. There was one point that I did not want anything to do with God at all, period, point blank. I'll do another video about that. But my walk with God has gotten much better. And I don't know if that would have been so if I didn't have the direct example of my parents living up to what they were talking about. It was never like a do this or else. It was more like, this is what I believe and I want you to try it and see if you like it. and I did like it. So like, that's just my experience. So that's been a pro for me. Okay, so now the cons. And of course, with every con, there's a positive twist. With every pro, there's a negative twist. Y'all get the point. First con is the traditional church. The church that people stop going to church because of. In every good thing, there's always going to be a mix of bad. Jesus had 12 homies that he thought were down for him, and then of course there's one Judas. Like, y'all get what I'm trying to say. I remember from a young age, people would try to get information out of me and my sister about our parents, like try to get dirt on them through us because we were young and we were innocent. Like, you can tell when people are genuine about why they come to church. When people come to church for God, you can tell. And when people come to church literally just to show off their clothes, to start trouble, to gossip about other people, you can also tell. So that's been a negative thing, a con for me as a pastor's kid. And the second thing is the responsibility. The responsibility of a pastor is crazy. Like, you have all these people's souls in your hands, and you as the kid see that responsibility and see how hard your parents are working and don't want to do anything to mess it up. Because people always say, like, the Bible says, like, me and my household will serve the Lord. If you can't manage your household, then you can't manage the things of the Lord. Like, all of that, I was like, I can't mess up. And you would think because New York is big that people would not catch you slipping ever, bruh. The amount of times I have been doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing and have a church brother or sister pull up skirt, that's definitely been part of the New York experience. One time I was in the city, like I was legit, and this is very like cliche New York, but I was in Times Square. I don't even know how I ended up there. I did not like Times Square, but probably the person I was with at the time, this boy that I did not have any business talking to. I was in Times Square and we're getting on the subway, and this church sister is at the bro, I have never ditched somebody so fast in my life. I was like, I don't know you. I've never seen you. Who are you? Wow, that's crazy. You talking to me. Wow, sister XOXO. Like, this dude is crazy. Like, he won't stop talking to me. Oh my God, save me. Bro, it was horrific. And it's just to show, like, you kind of have that pressure on you from a young age. Like, you don't want what you're doing to affect how people see your parents as leaders. Number 3 is, and this is the biggest one for me, is sharing your parents. When your parent is a pastor or a minister, even a deacon, anyone in the ministry, you gotta share. You not getting your parent all the time. They're not your parents anymore. They're the church's parents, and you just in the church. Sharing your parents is definitely a con, because sometimes you want them to be there specifically for you, but they have church business to take care of. They got to study for Bible study. They got to study for a sermon, and you just can't bother them because it's important to them. And if you believe it as a pastor's kid, then it's important to you too. It's crazy because one of the main memories I have of my dad was just of him on the phone. Mans was on the phone all the time, talking to other pastors, praying with people that needed prayer, encouraging people that needed encouragement, trying to set people up with jobs he would have to be on the phone for. And it's the same thing with my mom. She is also just a prayer warrior. I'll be praying 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, 5 in the morning, 2 a.m., 1 a.m., 12 o'clock prayer. Like, shorty's just praying about somebody, with somebody, for somebody, by herself, just talking to God, making sure that her relationship with God is tight, because she knows she has to preach a sermon. They are just here for the people. It's like having a whole nother congregation of siblings that you did not sign up for. You're gonna have to share them, and you're gonna be woken up out your bed. And of course, everybody who's a pastor's kid knows this, but at the end of service, you not going home anytime soon. If service ends at 2 o'clock, boo, you getting home at 4, even if you live 5 minutes away. And that's just on, that's on period. That's just not even debatable. Everybody wants to talk to them in person. Like, the phone call is one thing. Who cares if there's FaceTime? Boo, I want to talk to your mother in person. I want prayer in person. I want her to touch my head. Like, people will literally wait until service is over and just flock. You and I getting home. But I'm just grateful, as I tie New York neatly into this, that every church that I've been at has had a bodega, because me and the bodega man are always tight. Bro always knows me. Like, bro always got me. He's like, oh, you don't have the 50 cents. Because he knows. He sees everybody peel out and go home. And we the last ones to leave, bro. So if you live in New York, you know that when you and your bodega man are tight, then there's really nothing else to be worried about. Overall, I would not change my experience for the world. I've learned so much. I have lifelong friends and family that I wouldn't have had. And I have a great spiritual foundation. Like, I know who God is for myself. I would say that that's one thing to consider when you're a pastor's kid, is really taking that time to get to know who God is outside of what your parents have told you, outside of who your parents are, because I had to take that journey for myself. Like, there was no other way for me to do it. I had to figure out who God was. Do I even want to serve you? Like, what you up to? Why? What's my purpose in life? Like, so what's up? Outside of what that stereotypical traditional Christian is supposed to look like. Like, I am me. God knows me. God loves me. God's down for me. He's on my team. That's something that I had to discover on my own. So I would implore anybody who's a pastor's kid to take that journey. What does your spirituality look like outside of what your parents say it is? Like, do you even want to serve God? People don't even talk about that sometimes. They're like, he is the way, the truth, and the light. And that's what I believe that he is. But until you discover it for yourself, like, you're just following what other people told you to do. So I would say discover it for yourself. And those are the pros and those are my cons. And if you enjoyed this video, you want to see my testimony about when I totally ran all the way from God and was out and about doing the stereotypical pastor's kid shenanigans, then you can just like and subscribe, and that video will be coming soon. I'm Kimmy Coleman, and I'm out.